What is going on, everybody? I am the FDGURU, bringing to you guys a Wednesday NBA edition of my DFS podcast. And as tweeted earlier, I'm doing a Guru credit code in this video. Just give this video a like, subscribe. I'll give you that code after the first couple of my plays. We have 8 games on the main slate tonight. We did have 9, but the Bucks and Pelicans game got canceled, assuming because of that wild, snow and ice storm going on down in the south where all it takes is an inch or two to really screw things up because they're not prepared for any of it. So I'm not really surprised that game in New Orleans is canceled. It's unfortunate because I actually liked a couple pieces in that game, but there's still value elsewhere. We'll talk about that one play for each position. Again, just give this video a like. You'll get that Guru credit code after the first couple of my plays. So for point guard tonight, I do like LaMelo Ball. We have Brandon Miller out. LaMelo Ball currently, with now Giannis off the slate, is the highest projected player on this slate tonight. Brandon Miller is out with a wrist injury. He's been out for the past couple of games, so we're going to see extra usages for LaMelo and for Miles Bridges. I really like this game. I think it's an awesome DFS game. Grizzlies and Hornets, we see a 241 over-under. The one worry here is it is a 12-point spread. We had 4 out of the 5 games on last night's slate in double-digit spreads, and now out of the 8 games tonight, we have another 4 games with double-digit spreads. Celtics are minus 11.5. Thunder are minus 16.5 at home against the Jazz. Grizzlies are minus 12, and the Suns in Brooklyn are minus 12.5. So I do think the Hornets stay in this game, though. 12 points isn't too scary. Obviously, the Thunder 16.5. Now that's a scary one. Really like LaMelo Ball, projected for 52 fantasy points tonight. Again, with Giannis off the slate, he is projected the most fantasy points on this slate. I really like LaMelo Ball, especially with Brandon Miller off of the court. Shooting guard, I think we go to Keon Johnson. I'm not quite sure yet. We have another one of those slates where we have miserable Nets value that we're going to have to figure out as we go. It's a 7:30 Eastern main slate lock tonight like last night, so don't be messaging me at 6:50 asking where the lineup is, because once again it's a 7:30 lock tonight. I'm saying that because the Nets game is one of the first games on this slate, so we should get that starting lineup, and we're going to want it because with Simmons and Cam Johnson doubtful, D'Angelo Russell out, and then they're continued without Cam Thomas, Zaire Williams, Bogdanovich. Just an absolute grocery list of names on the injury report. We currently have a projected lineup of Reese Beekman, Keon Johnson, Tyrese Martin, and then their normal front court. I don't think there's any questions in the front court. Noah Clowney and Nick Claxton, their usual big guys with De'Aaron Sharp coming off the bench. But in the backcourt, we're going to have to see what happens there. Keon Johnson's probably going to be the number one, ball handler on this offense. You could look at Reese Beekman, especially if he's starting. We'll have to see later on, but he's only $3,700. Again, the Nets are so short-handed tonight. We're going to have to look at them, even though they're 12-point dogs against the Suns. Even like Tyrese Martin, we've seen in the past when he starts with all these guys out, he can go off 4,900. There was a time period there when a lot of guys weren't playing like Cam Johnson. He was playing 30-plus minutes, and he was doing really well. So at 4,900, he only needs 24 fantasy points. He could be a guy we look at, but for this video right now, we're going to go to Keon Johnson. I know he's been really bad over the last 4 games, but when guys like Ben Simmons and Cam Johnson and D'Angelo Russell are playing, it's a completely different scenario for Keon Johnson. His usage is way low. With these guys off the court, he could be the main ball handler for the Nets tonight. I'm not saying he's a lock or anything. I mean, I never say anything's a lock because it's just shitty terminology, but I wouldn't say he's like a must-play or anything tonight. He's someone catching my eye. It's just something to note. We do want to look at this Nets team tonight as value. As gross as it is, that's what DFS does to us when guys are ruled out. Just keep an eye out on that starting lineup. I'm probably not going to be posting on my website until we get that starting lineup, because we should be getting that starting lineup, 7 o'clock Eastern is my projection, 30 minutes before the game. So it's nice that the main slate doesn't lock until 7:30 once again tonight, so we can wait on that Nets starting lineup. For my Guru credit code, go to my website, fd-guru.com. This is where I post all of my lineups for the main slates. As you can see on the NBA page, FanDuel, DraftKings, you can get cash or GPP options. These Guru credits buy all content that I post on my website, the universal currency. You can make an account to get bonus credits to sign up. You got to be signed into an account for this code to work so the credits can go into your account. Today's code for 10 credits is the month, Jan 22, the date, and then MBA, and then the year 25. All caps, Jan 22, MBA 25. Hit apply coupon. You'll see 10 credits go into your account automatically after a few seconds. Again, just like this video and subscribe. Let's have a huge NBA night here tonight. Small forward, we're going to go with a couple of forwards on each side of this Grizzlies and Hornets game. I was talking about how this is my favorite game on the slate. We just have to worry about the Hornets staying in this game, which is a little scary, but we could see some huge ceilings if the Hornets make this game competitive. I really like Desmond Bane, 7,700. His price is going up, but he's projected for 39 fantasy points tonight. He needs 37 to hit value. Matchup's great. He's at home. He's been playing better than Jaren Jackson and Ja Morant as of late. As you can see here, he's been very consistent over his last 5 games, 34-plus fantasy points. His last 2 games, 14 assists, 56 and 42 fantasy points. Really like Desmond Bane. He has a good chance of getting over 40 tonight in this matchup against the Hornets. Can play shooting guard and small forward. And as of right now, there's not a ton of eye-popping value on this slate in general. We are waiting on injury news, though. Jalen Williams with an E on the Thunder is questionable. The better Jalen Williams. We have Bradley Beal questionable for the Suns. Jalen Johnson in one of those first games for the Hawks is questionable. Klay Thompson is questionable. He stinks. Let's see. Celtics, a lot of questionable guys again. Porzingis, he was at shoot-around, though. Illness. Drew Holiday, questionable. Al Horford, questionable. And then the Clippers on the other side in that late game. I don't think there's much to look at in that late game. I think it's pretty gross. You do have Zubats out again, so you might see Mo Bamba get the start. He's hard to trust. But you have 3 of their starters, Powell, Chris Dunn, and James Harden, all questionable. That's going to be tough because 6 out of the 8 games tonight lock at 8 o'clock Eastern, and we probably won't have that news for the Clippers. So you won't have much to pivot to if James Harden is ruled out. So that's really tough to prepare for. I don't know what I'm going to do with that yet, but we'll have to see. But overall, not like a ton of injury news. We'll have to wait and see up till lock. Things can always happen. It is the NBA, but Desmond Bane at small forward. And then on the other side in this game, I mentioned LaMelo Ball with no Brandon Miller. You got to go with Miles Bridges as well with no Brandon Miller. Needs 36 fantasy points to hit value. I really like him tonight. He has a huge ceiling. He can get, as we've seen in the past, over 50 fantasy points on a good night, and he could do that against the Grizzlies tonight. His point prop right now, I just took it in multiple ways, 18.5. I don't know if it's still 18.5, but he has 20-plus points in his last 5 games, 6 out of his last 7 out of his last 8 games. I mean, he's hit over 18 in every game but one when they got blown out against the Cavs. So I love Miles Bridges. His point prop is too low tonight. It should honestly be 20.5. I got it at 18.5. But for DFS, I like Bridges as well. He's too cheap at 7,400 with no Brandon Miller. So give me LaMelo Ball and Miles Bridges in this game. They're some of my favorite plays on this slate. And then for center, I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do. We are spending up in other ways. I don't think it's a great night to spend up on center. Sabonis is pretty properly priced at 10.5K now. Şengün's got a tough matchup. I had mentioned Mo Bamba with Zubac out, but that's just tough to trust. Daniel Gafford's now very expensive. He had 77 fantasy points against the Hornets. Just absurd stuff. Can't expect that again, but As of right now, we're going to look at Jalen Williams with a Y. He was very popular the first game without Hartenstein, and he disappointed a lot of people against Cleveland. 14 minutes, 12 fantasy points. But in the last 2 games, he has shown that he does deserve to start for Hartenstein, and he can take on an extended role. 31 minutes against the Mavs, 26 minutes against the Nets, 31 and 36 fantasy points. I like him here tonight at 5,400. He needs 27 to hit value. It's not like a automatic play at center. I just don't really see many other value plays right now that I like more than Jalen Williams. So let's give him a look. He should play over 25 minutes. Again, no Isaiah Hartenstein, so he looks pretty good against the Jazz tonight. That'll do it for this video, guys. Let's get after tonight's slate. Put in that code, like the video, subscribe, keep an eye out on that Nets starting lineup. It's probably going to matter on this slate. But until next time, I am the FD Guru. Peace.